Hello, my name is Rich Howard, owner of Architectural Builder Supply. In this video is to bring you a closer look at the Bommer number 5010-406-600. This is a plain bearing 5-knuckle full mortise wide throw steel base 4x6 removable pin primed for painting hinge. Let's just dissect the part number and get right into it. The 5010 means a few things. First of all, the 5010 means that it is a full mortise hinge, meaning that when the leaves, you can see from the swag on the hinge leaves there, that when the leaves are brought parallel, that they're intended to be mortised flush to the edge of the door and frame. The 5010 also specifically means it is a plain bearing hinge, just typical knuckles. It means it's steel base, means it's wide throw as well, plain and 5-knuckle, if I've not already said that. Yeah, I did. The 406 is a reference to the size. That means specifically that this hinge is 4 inch tall by 6 inch wide. Okay, it's important to know that the height is the first dimension on a hinge like this. It'll keep you from getting out of trouble. If you were to have, if you have a 4x4 hinge, doesn't matter. Call the width first, fine. But when you get into rectangular shaped hinges, wide throw hinges, or say a 5x4.5, that's 5 inch tall, 4.5 wide, 4 inch tall, 6 inch wide. 600 is prime coat. That's what it looks like from Bommer. It also means specifically that it is a steel base hinge. Okay. There is screws included in a complementary finish, in this case prime coat, machine screws and wood screws. There is a link below this video to the cut sheet, which shows everything important dimensionally about the hinge. First of all, you can see that the hinge leaf thickness is 130 thousandths thick. The location of the template pattern of the screw holes are here. On the left-hand lower side, you're going to see the column for steel hinges, brass or bronze, and then stainless steel. And you can see how the part number changes. This is a 5010. When you go to a brass or bronze, you can see it becomes 11 or 12 if it's stainless. The 5000 series hinges that row for 5,000, you can see that that means that it is a non-wide throw. Your 8,000, that's a 3-knuckle hinge versus a 5-knuckle like this. And the BB or LB stands for ball bearing or lube bearing, which are maintenance-free bearing construction types for these hinges. The link below this video, or the extended description below this video, encapsulates everything that we just said. Options, lots of options. Radiused corners, decorative tips, like this is what's called a button tip, urn tip, steeple tip, and of course the most common ball tip are all options. Different architectural finishes, naturally. As we said earlier, brass or bronze or stainless based materials along with steel. Different finishes on that, etc. Why you're going to use a wide throw hinge? Well, the most common, there's two reasons, but the most common, of course, is where you have thicker than standard casing on the pull side of a door. You might have an exterior door, when in that case you might want a non-removable pin. This is just a removable pin and can be easily driven out. You would order the NRP version of the hinge, the non-removable pin. There's other options that Bommer has in terms of security, like security studs, etc. Contact us for quotes on that. So you might have thicker than average casing or brick mold, okay, and that's the most common reason for using a hinge. So you've got a 6 inch wide hinge. When you fold that back, of course, you're at 3 inch from the edge of the hinge to the center of the pivoting axis. So this is going to give you, when the door is closed, let's say an additional 1 inch of shift from axis of pivoting, or the center line of the axis of the pin, versus a standard 4x4 hinge. But when your door is going to open, of course, that's going to give you a total of 2 inches beyond what a standard installation would be. Okay. 6 is a very common. 5 inches also very common when it comes to 4 inch tall hinges. The other reason is you might have a door that is pushed deeper into the frame, meaning that when you stand on the pull side of the door and you run your hand over the face of the door and the frame, it's almost flush. It's about a 3/32 inset, very small inset. Not flush, but close. you could have a door that's kicked way in, an inch or more, or whatever the case might be. That would be the other reason that you might need a wide throw hinge. And if you're thinking of wide throw hinges, definitely think along the lines of extended lip strike plates as well. You might have a need for that. I've seen places that have the door kicked into the frame. First floor of a home built in Florida 150 years ago. 3-story home. There's no steel in the home, so those first floor walls are, 24 inches or 18 inches thick. Well, those doors are pushed way in so that it looks a bit more symmetrical and not this giant, jam depth of a frame. Those are, wide throw hinges naturally because the door is way further in. The original Capitol building in Iowa, Iowa City, has that same feature. Windows in the Ponce de Leon Lighthouse in Florida have pairs of windows installed in exterior brick walls 150 years ago when it was built. Because those windows are kicked in, they simply need a wide throw hinge. In that case, we're using a Parliament hinge to get out and around the brick walls. Parliament hinges are wide throw in effect as well. Last thing I'd like to say or point out to you is the Bommer logo. Right above it, it says "Made in USA." A fact that Bommer is quite proud of, as am I to represent them. If you have any questions on the Bommer 5010-406-600 wide throw hinge or any other Bommer product, please feel free to reach out to us. Thank you.